thank you for having me. You know, the whole title of the thing, I struggled with it because you always have to try and make it telegraphic. But I thought if I talked about the talent wars or, the world has changed, that sounded really boring. And it's true. The story I'm going to tell is a little bit about work, but it's actually a really funny story. And it's when I realized that even though I do have a Peter Pan complex, I am getting pretty old. So I'm a partner at Naked in Brazil, and I don't know if you've heard of it. It's originally an English company, communications company, and they've been around for about 13 years. And of course, with them in England, in Australia, in the US, the naked joke has already happened several times. But in Brazil, it's a little over a year old. So the minute I joined Naked and I tweeted, I am at Naked, then I had all the jokes, FIFA, Naked, Brazil, that's kind of cool. And that joke went on and on and on. But the truth is, in our market, nobody had made this joke until recently. And it was everything to do with this generation that everybody calls Z, and me feeling very old. So also, on top of working at Naked, I have a little startup in the US. And for me, this was very important because I'm trying to cater to the people that, that did this to me at work. So we do a lot of stuff at Naked, the usual stuff, work for clients and this and that, and try to sell their brands and build their brands, and but we do stuff for ourselves. And the reason we do that is to try and keep people motivated to work with us. Because right now, nobody wants to work for an ad agency. Everybody wants to work at Google. Everybody wants to work at Facebook, and it's really hard to recruit. So we keep doing our own stuff to try and get people charmed by, joining our ranks. And right when we launched, one of the things we did, talking about APIs, we used Instagram's open API, and we had a website that was Look at Brazil on Instagram. And we took all the pictures that were tagged Brazil, and we just put them in a nice visualization. After that, we then filtered it with, city names and tourist location names, and it was quite nice, and everybody thought it was cool. And I know it sounds boring, but that's a while ago, and it was quite cool for Brazil. We also used Twitter APIs to take Now Listening and Music Monday, which wasn't a habit in Brazil, and suddenly more people were tweeting, Music Monday and Now Listening, and we did Radio Naked with that. And then because we did that, our team, who is very young in general, our creatives are maybe 23, 22, 25, decided that they could do other stuff. And one day, about 5 weeks ago, I arrived in my office to 3 of the kids. I'm 38 years old. I know, there's a thing called hair dye, and it's wonderful for women, kind of makes you look really young. I'm not. I'm going to be 39 very soon. So I get to the office, and 3 of the kids come to me, and the leader of the pack is a girl, and she says to me, "We have this idea, we want to talk to you about it." And she says, "I have this ex-boyfriend," she's 23 years old. "I have this ex-boyfriend who's really cool, but I don't want to date him anymore. He's very nice, but I don't want to be with him. But he's really nice, and I think it would be nice if I could find him another girlfriend." I'm like, right. And then the 2 boys said, "Yeah, and we also have ex-girlfriends. Mind you, one of the boys is 19. He's an intern. I have this girlfriend, and she's really cool, and but I don't want to date her, and I wanted to find her a new boyfriend." And I'm thinking, okay, guys, I'm not your generation. I don't want to find my ex-boyfriends and new girlfriends. I just want them to die, It's like, and they're like, "No, but we we want to help them." And I'm joking, but I don't want anybody to die, but you know what I mean. So it's very, and then they thought of a whole social network for people to recommend their ex-boyfriends and girlfriends to new people. So guys, there's a thing already called Facebook. You don't need to create a new social network for that. But they wanted to create a repository of cool ex-boyfriends and ex-girlfriends so that people could find them. And we simplified it, and we made it into a Tumblr. So we launched a Tumblr called recommendanex.tumblr.com. Well, in Brazil, so .com.br. So you guys, unless you're Brazilians, or unless you speak Portuguese, you can't find people there because it's all in Portuguese. That said, we launched it, and in 2 days, and the thing was, because it's a Tumblr, somebody needs to post it. It's not open for anyone to post. So you need to email the name of the person, a photo of the person, their Facebook profile, and like a 3-liner description of why that person is a cool person and you should maybe date them. So in 2 days, they had 3,000 emails. And of course, they couldn't do any one of the assignments I had to do for OI, for Yahoo, for Penalty, for Snickers, for all my clients. And I had 3 less creatives in my team. And they're like, oh, wow, this is getting big. And then Brazil's major newspaper called them. And then the second largest newspaper called them. And then, the MTV of Brazil called them. And suddenly they were pop stars in TV shows, giving interviews over the course of the following week. Everybody in the country knew those 3 kids and the website. And the emails kept coming. And of course, if it's an email, somebody needs to read the email, see if the person in case is not in a relationship before they post it. So, a week later, they come to me, Fefa, we're screwed. We have no time to do anything. We can't sleep. We can't work. We need to post things. We're going to shut it down. I said, no, guys, sorry. You created a monster. It's out there. You can't shut it down. We need to keep it going. So we had to hire an intern to update Recommend an X. So on the vibe, and it doesn't end there, it gets better. So it doesn't end there. So in the vibe of Recommend an X, they put a post on our Facebook page saying, would you recommend yourself? So, would you recommend, this is the website, Recommend an X. So, would you recommend us yourself was a post recruiting an intern to join us at Naked to be the intern that would update the Tumblr. So your job is read the emails, check if the person is not in a relationship, check their photos or something, you don't want to get people in trouble, and then post them on the Tumblr. So this girl, her name is Isabella, she's 25. Isabella got a bunch of people to recommend her. She recommended herself, and she got her friends to recommend herself as well. And she was recruited to be the intern. She arrived on Wednesday. But Isabella is very smart and a bit of a bully because she knows how to use the internet. So on the Wednesday when she joined us, it's an unpaid internship, she decided she wanted a job at Naked. And what she did was she launched her own Tumblr. And her Tumblr was, she was asking people to submit photos of themselves naked, holding a sign, I get naked so Isa can be naked. The first picture is this picture, like American Beauty inspired, and the sign says, I got naked so I can be naked. So she was asking people, all her friends and the friends of her friends, to send pictures so she could put it on the Tumblr, naked, so that we would be convinced to hire her. I don't need to tell you that over the course of the next couple of days, it was, all over the place. Everybody, who's this girl? And is she objectifying women? And is this denigrating it? Whatever, blah, blah, all the drama, the PC conversation. We're Brazilians. The agency is called Naked. We are in communications. We're okay with the joke. It's fine. This happened. She posted this thing on Wednesday. I was in the States, and I was flying to Brazil on Thursday night. And I was dealing with some legal shit. So the whole day on Thursday, I wasn't online. I had my phone on me, but I was barely checking my email. So I didn't know anything. When I sat on the plane, I looked at my email, and I had several emails of people saying about the naked girl. I'm like, what the hell is a naked girl? What's going on? Because I hadn't seen anything. And then I looked at my Facebook, and there were pictures of people naked. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I landed on Friday morning. I went home, changed, went to the office, and hired Isa. Of course, I never saw her book. I didn't know if she was a writer or an art director. I had no idea, I just thought, this girl is crazy. It was a great joke. Nobody had ever done the joke. We were over a year old. Nobody had ever made the naked joke. And, she made it. So she got everything. She got people sending their kids naked. She got people posing. A lot of naked people, seriously. And of course, the newspapers and the trade press all asking Isa, is this cool? Is this not cool? And then I got interviewed. How did you feel about the girl who took her clothes off? And of course, they wanted me to say, as a woman, that I was profoundly offended by it. And I wasn't. I thought it was really funny what she did. And the other cool thing about that is that if you go back to the picture, her original picture, Isa is a very pretty girl, you know, but she's not Giselle Bündchen, you know, and she's not like your perfect catwalk model. She's a pretty girl. She's a normal pretty girl. She had no shame in taking the picture, in making the joke. She was very cool about it. And recently, I don't know how many here, you know, follow the things in the US, but you know, Lena Dunham and Girls, you know, she's being praised a lot about the fact that, you know, you know, personally, sometimes I think they push it a little bit, but whatever. I'm not the target audience, not the ideal target audience, but she's naked on TV all the time, and she's pretty cool with herself. She's very comfortable with her own body, which is something quite nice about this generation, because everybody was worried that they were all going to be, the young girls were all going to be anorexic and crazy and need to, you know, be a size 0, 2, 3. I'm not really sure what the sizes are in the US, but, you know, 0, 4, you know. So it's kind of nice that she did it. And then, you know, all the other people, and you should go, I mean, you will find the thing on the presentation, because, you know, Eu Fico Pelado pra Isa Ser Naked is the URL. But you will see the pictures, and it's a lot of normal people, and, you know, with their signs, with, you know, being naked. And every time somebody asked me about this story, you know, and it became, and the cool thing, okay, so she did this, she got hired, and then a week in, this was not done for a client, this was done for her to get a job, to bully me into giving her a job. Now, we have a client that's an apparel brand, a Brazilian apparel brand, the Brazilian equivalent of the Gap. And 1 week in, she came to me and said, you know what I was thinking? We could go to our client, the name of the brand is Ehring, we could go to our client and ask them for clothes so that we could send a piece of clothing to each one of the people who took their clothes off for me as a thank you. And then we would just create some buzz about it. And the client was quite cool and gave her several pieces of clothing. So she had people in Colombia, in Australia, in New Zealand, because on top of it, it's the internet, it's global. So we had to, you know, mail stuff everywhere around the world. So she sent, and everybody then sent a picture of them wearing the piece of clothing, which was quite sweet, you know. So, you know, the reason I decided to talk about this is that you know, we are all here talking about creative ideas to sell brands and to do this and to motivate people. And we're talking about target audiences and research and, you know, are people consuming more the internet, more the TV, more this, more that. And we're all talking about technology and APIs and Google Glass and everything. But in the end of the day, it's these people and how they navigate whatever the system is, the technology that becomes transparent, because we need to think about the fact that it's a Tumblr. For them, it's natural. We need to think about the fact that I wouldn't necessarily recommend my ex-boyfriend. I would kind of think, yeah, not really. And they are very happy to find their ex-boyfriends and ex-girlfriends, new boyfriends and girlfriends. And it's, you know, in the end of the day, it's about these people. Whatever we do, whatever the technology, whatever the Google Glass you're wearing, it's these people. So I thought that was a nice story to tell. Thank you.
That was brilliant. Very cool. Thank you for that, Fernanda. For me, I hire a lot of these people as well. We have a program called the Google Five. And as I said earlier, it's partly because of that creative naivety and that sort of lack of inhibition, the utter confidence, incredible resourcefulness, the fact that they just kind of did this and it's up, right? How do you balance the business? Like, because you said yourself, and there's probably people here going, I got to get cool kids in, and I got to get them to help me do all this sort of stuff. But how do you got to run a business? You got clients, and some of this stuff can relate, but how do you make that work?
So I think it's an everyday job. I think on one hand, it's my job is to be the serious one. I'm the one with the gray hair. I'm the one with the crow's feet. You know, I'm the one who should be the serious person. The only thing is I should go in with an open mind. So if I think it's a little bit too much out there, then I'll bring them back. But it's their job to challenge me and my job to try and bring the best out of them. So that's one thing. The other thing is, you know, Naked's, one of the things Naked says is that we're a bunch of brilliant misfits. And I remember right when we launched the agency, we were looking for someone, and I wanted my intern. I wanted somebody to work with me. And also, I had been away from Brazil for a while, and I didn't know any of the new slang words. I had been away for 7 years, so I missed vocabulary. So I wanted an intern literally to sit next to me, just to hang out with, just to learn new words. And I tweeted, I was looking for someone, and I sent out a thing for a bunch of people, and I got a load of misfits wanting a job. Kids, total misfits, and so out of line, it was beyond me. I didn't get a lot of brilliant misfits, you know. And then I found one, and then I hired him, and now he's going to go to Hyper Island, conquer the world. But I think that what you need to do, and in Isa's case, is, I hired her on the Friday. On Friday afternoon, I looked at the list of assignments we had. I found the most boring assignment. And I went to her with a plain face and said, so Isa, I need you to do this for me. And, this is what, the assignment is, da-da-da-da. I'm going to review with you on Monday afternoon. And I was expecting her to react positively or negatively. And she was all cool, yeah, sure. What time do you want to see on Monday? So, she's a brilliant misfit. She's fine. She does the boring thing with the same energy that she will do the really cool thing.
And it's interesting, because what's interesting about that is I think they don't see the delineation between work and play. It's all kind of play. Yeah. Anybody have any other questions? Well, that was fantastic. Thank you very much, Fernanda.
Thank you.